Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, cats, dogs, pets, all my friends, whoever you are out there. This is Optimus Prime. Aha! That's who this guy is. I am Mr. Benjamin. A lot of you are wondering, why is there a picture of Optimus Prime on your video, Mr. Benjamin? Why do you even ask? I don't know. I'll explain later, don't worry. This is 7.2, and we're looking at translations today. This is math. We're not translating any different languages, but we are going to translate images. So we're going to recall Cartesian grid or Cartesian coordinate system. This is your basic grid system. And remember, we have our x and y axes. Now, this side of the graph is all positive. Positive x, positive y. If we go down here, we have positive x and negative y. This side here is negative and negative, which kind of makes a face, see? And this side here we have negative and positive. And for each one of these, it's always x and y. X and y, x and y, x and y. And this is how we grid, this is how we graph our images. Coordinates, just like I spoke about, are always going to be in bracket. First we read x, then we read y. So we could have 3 and 5. And if I wanted to find 3 and 5 on this grid, I would go over 3 times. 1, 2, 3 on my x, and then up 5. I'm going to have to erase this to make some space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this point would be right there. If we call that point A, that's point A, right there. Learning goals for today, we are going to recognize, you better recognize, an image of a two-dimensional shape after a translation. Translation, that was in the title, we kind of talked about it. What is a translation, though? Good question. We're going to get to our definitions. A translation is a movement of a shape on a Cartesian grid. Oh, that D needs some work there. There we go. There we go. So it's movement of a shape on a Cartesian grid. An orientation, or in this case, the orientation of the shape that was just moved, that is defined as the direction that a shape or object. At this point, you might not be able to see this, so I got to erase prime. Sorry, Optimus. Shape or object is facing after a translation. In fact, that last part probably isn't even needed. It's just the orientation or the direction that an object is facing. Prime. Prime is an interesting word that we have to talk about. So, often when we have situations or coordinates that we're looking at, for example, let's say we have A being 3 and 5. If A were to be moved, let's draw a quick grid here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my A. Let's say we were to move A to, let's make A now, let's make it 2 and negative 1. So we're going to draw A, 1, 2, 1, 2, oh, just 1. So A is now here. We have moved A. Oh, that's a disaster. Let me fix that up. But this is the new section where A is. We're not going to call this A as well. We're going to call this A prime. That little apostrophe on the top, that is known as prime. Prime is the new location of a coordinate. So for another example, if, say, this point here was B, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4, and 4. If we were to move B, say, down here, this is no longer B. It's a new point. It's called B prime. And B prime would be 1, 2, 3, negative 3, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 3 and 5. That and that. So every time we move a position, the name of that position has prime added to it. So this was originally A prime. This was originally A, now it's A prime. This was originally B, now it's B prime. So let's take a look at a quick example here. Hopefully this video will be shorter than the last one, which was a bit longer. Again, I apologize, that video had a lot of interruptions. So our original shape, it's a triangle. Triangle A, B, C. First thing we're going to do is we're going to list the coordinates. A is at, so let's take a look. Remember, this is X, and this is Y, and this side is positive, this side is negative, positive, negative. Write it on top for now. So it is at negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5 on the X, and 0 on the Y. Let's take a look at B. B is also negative 5 on the X, and negative 2 on the Y, because B is 2 places lower than A. And C is going to be a bit further to the right. 1, 2, 3. So negative 3x and 1, 2. Negative 2 on the Y. So there is our triangle ABC. Now, we are going to look at the translation of triangle ABC. And it's no longer triangle ABC. It's triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So although the triangles look virtually the same, they even have the same poorly colored in job, which also doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean. They are no longer the same triangle because it's been translated, it's been moved. So now, triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. We're going to find the coordinates for that. So A is negative 1, 2, 3, and positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So A is at negative 3 and positive 4. We're going to do the same for B. B is also at negative 3x and positive 2. Y. And now we're going to look at C. C is at negative 1x and positive 2y. So all of them we can draw in how we found. And these are the sections that we're looking for. Oops, don't want to get rid of that. Now, sometimes you might be asked to think about how many tiles they have moved. So you can kind of get an idea of it if you draw a line to each section. So A's gone there, B has gone there, and C has gone there. That kind of looks like a triangular prism, which is probably one of the harder 3D shapes to draw. Every time I try to draw it, it looks terrible. That's like a tent that no one would want to sleep in. So we're going to get rid of that. Now let's look at point A. Now, point A has moved from negative 5 on the X to negative 3 on the X. So A, it's gone from negative 5 to negative 3. So that has shifted positive 2 tiles. Again, I apologize if you can't see this bottom part. I'll try to rewrite it a bit higher or make it a bit smaller at least. So hopefully we can see that there. So A has gone from negative 5 to negative 3, and that has moved positive 2 tiles. Now that's on the X. Now if we consider the Y component as well, it has gone up 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gone up 4 from 0 to positive 4. So it's moved up 4 tiles. So what we can say is, this image has moved to the right 2 spaces, or 2 units, and up 4 units, or spaces. Either way will work. The right way of saying it is units, but in this case they are spaces, so we can say 1 centimeter spaces. That's something very important to keep in mind, because you have to be able to describe your translation. Okay? Try this. We are going to list the coordinates of both images. So I need to see A, B, C, D, and the coordinates for each, as well as A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, and the coordinates for each one. Then you are also going to describe the translation. Let's fix that D up a bit. There you go. And how you're going to do that is you're going to tell me that square A, B, C, D has moved how many spaces to the left, how many spaces to the right, up and down, etc., etc., etc. So I think that's it for this class, or this lesson, and I don't think we've had a smiley face put in yet. So there's one big smiley face. I'm going to change my color up. I haven't changed. There you go. I'm going to draw another smiley face within that smiley face, which is actually kind of freaky. And now I'm going to say thank you. As always, I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you learned something new.